Hi, today I'm going to talk about something completely different to what I usually discuss on my channel. I want to talk about male loneliness and broadly more political, cultural topics. And this is a real hot topic at the moment. It's one of those weird things that the left has failed men on, and we need to have an honest discussion about men's problems, loneliness, suicide, and broader issues that men face. So, what is male loneliness? Is it a real problem? What can we do about it? These are some of the things I want to discuss in this video. So, the first problem is that this ideology, these set of problems have really been seeded by the right. So figures like Andrew Tate, Jordan Peterson, Sneeko, these kind of male pickup artists that kind of have really taken men's problems and distorted and just give bad answers. So it's really been a failure of the left to kind of give men a alternative view on what does it mean to be a man, because this is a big question that I am not able to fully answer in this question, because I think that's the point. It is a question that needs to be answered and taken seriously. What is the role of men today under late capitalism, where with the impending doom of AI taking a lot of jobs already? A lot of male jobs in the past have been in engineering. So what is it? This problem is only really going to get worse. So let's get back to the left. The left have really, they don't acknowledge it as the problem. Like the idea that men have problems for I wouldn't say the majority of the left, but a good chunk of the left is that, oh, we don't care. It's like, get over yourself, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. There's a tendency to individualize male problems, and that's a deeply problematic way of looking at it, because these issues are sociological, they're broader, they're systemic, and obviously men are not the only ones feeling loneliness. Women feel it in a different way, and we should be able to describe how men and women have different problems and be able to look at them in a kind of fairly balanced way. So what causes male loneliness? There's a few problems here. Often men find it more difficult to open up and be vulnerable about their problems, and often they kind of internalize the idea that their problems aren't really problems. They're not really big issues that need to be spoken about, and they just have this idea that, oh, I just need to get on with it. If there's a problem, I just get on with it and internalize it. And this causes big problems, because often men will turn to drugs, alcohol to kind of suppress and kind of medicate the problem. So women, for example, are more likely to be diagnosed with depression, and men are more likely to die by suicide. And the suicide is increasing in men. And often it's related to that notion of masculinity, that men are a provider. And now women are catching up with men in education and jobs. Often it's the case that the woman will earn more than the man, which I think is obviously a great thing. But also in education, for example, men are being left behind, and actually women are more likely to graduate. Women are doing better in school and university because that environment is more suited to women. Little boys find it hard to kind of sit down and listen. They're generally a bit more energetic and want to be doing stuff. And that also again comes back to men aren't able to open up and be vulnerable, because when men spend time together, they usually share time bonding through an action, and it's that kind of sport, activity, interest, that's what they bond over. It's not necessarily in the same way women do, where they will talk about their life, their relationships, this is almost a cliche, but they are more likely to talk about their internal life. Men very rarely do. And we need to normalise the idea that actually men's vulnerabilities and the idea of being vulnerable, there's a lot of lip service about this. I mean, men are told, oh, you can talk about your emotions and talk about these things, but we've still got a long way, because this doesn't really happen in the way it should do, because again, there is that internalisation that, oh, when we talk about the problems, we're often shut down. So it's kind of, we still need to view men's problems as serious, but also we need to fight against the Andrew Tates of the world. So it's that real difficult balance, because misandry is a thing, but we often act like it isn't on the left, because we are acknowledging that maybe, although they have the wrong answers, there is problems that we need to face. And I understand it, that we live in a patriarchy. Most men do have power, but also working class men, which are most men, no matter what their race is, their sexuality, do not have the power. But they do, obviously, we all propagate, we all reinforce the patriarchy, gender norms, and often we need to have a bigger discussion about gender, because gender is a bad thing. I personally, I'm going to do a video on it in the future maybe, I'm a gender abolitionist. I think gender puts us in boxes, both men and women, that really is not helpful. These expectations, these roles are really problematic and actually very destructive, because they are so closed off, especially in the West. Like, it really is detrimental, and this is why the conservatives love talking about gender and trans people, because for them it's a mode of control. Like, gender expectations, especially for women, is the way that they control women, and that's why they're so terrified of feminism. And so there's a lot of problems men face with being vulnerable: suicide rates, the job market for men, education, the ability to look to the future and think, oh, what am I going to be doing in the future with AI, and how kind of capitalism is falling apart. So what can we do about it? Well, there's no easy answers, but one answer is feminism. We've got to look at men's and women's issues as equal and see how they're interrelated, and how they are both related to gender expectations, and how when we talk about women's problems, we also need to talk about men's problems, and when we talk about men's problems, we need to talk about women's problems, and how they interrelate in a complex way, because women feel loneliness, so do men. It's different. When women are unhappy, so are men unhappy. Plenty of men are unhappy right now. Also, we need to acknowledge that this is a problem. Men do have problems as well. Most men are working class. They don't have the power. They don't have the means. They are part of the structures as well. We need to see men's problems, suicide, depression, all of them, again, education, loneliness, as sociological problems. We can't essentialise men as able to just deal with their own problems on an individual basis. We need to see it as a broader systemic view. And often, most of these problems of loneliness is capitalism, because men internalise the idea that we are providers, we work, we earn money, and that's what we do. We're defined by actions. We're this, we're a builder, we're a writer, whatever we are. But actually we need to expand the notion of what it means to be a man and a woman, and question the gender normative views of who we are. Like, gender is not a useful thing. Gender is really oppressive, and hopefully in a few hundred years, we would have grown out of it. And I think we are slowly. But we need to take men's problems seriously, not cede to the Andrew Tates, the right-wingers, and start really taking these problems seriously, because I guarantee if the left do, we're more likely to get people on board, and we want to expand the discourse of the left. We don't want to just shut people out for having the wrong views, although that is a common idea. I think that's completely wrong. We need to really invite people and go, yeah, you are feeling lonely, you're feeling depressed, you are unable to get a job, but here are some other solutions, and those solutions are socialism, not capitalism. So, thank you for watching. If you made it to the end, well done. I appreciate your time. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. I'm going to be talking more about politics, culture, and related topics. So if you are interested in that, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you soon. Take care.